As the end of the blazing 2021 season nears, the stakes get higher, and so does the quotient for drama, surprise, and controversy. With just 3 races left to go until the end of the season, let's take a look at what the F1 results are looking like. Make sure to stick around and pay attention. First, let's do a little recap of what's been up. If you haven't been following it as closely as we have, this F1 season has been quite the smoke show, pun intended, when it comes to the heated rivalry between Red Bull and Mercedes. Previously, it was the crashes between drivers Verstappen and Hamilton that brewed a bit of bad blood between the teams, and now the cherry on top is the latest headline: the clash between drivers Verstappen and Hamilton at the Brazil Grand Prix the past week. Mercedes' appeal to have the footage reviewed puts both racers out of commission after Verstappen took a dicey turn on the 48th lap. After that, it was the fact that Max Verstappen sneakily avoided a penalty at the Brazilian Grand Prix, as the result of a chunk of conveniently missing footage preventing judges from rewatching. But the latest F1 tea that's being served revolves around the most recent penalty handed to the Dutch driver that represents Red Bull. So let's take a look at that. What does the FIA follow-up look like? The FIA director actually admitted to overlooking the footage this race to inspect if what Verstappen was doing seemed intentional, because the angle at which Verstappen cuts is missing from the footage. However, the FIA declared that the near collision was a racing incident that didn't need to be looked into further, and that was that. And if we come to talking about the plausible penalties allocated to Verstappen, they could be a handful. Verstappen's sprint could have easily resulted in the FIA penalizing the Red Bull driver. That's because a 5-second penalty would have had Verstappen finishing second last, behind Mercedes driver number 2, Valtteri Bottas. That would have had Verstappen lead down by 11 championship points with just 3 races left to catch up. But the controversial penalty you'd normally be expecting didn't come from this race. It came from the one after it, at Qatar. Plot twist: the Qatar Grand Prix? Fast forward to the much anticipated Qatar Grand Prix, and things started to fall into place, which unfortunately weren't really ideal for the young Dutchman and his team that were in the lead for the F1 title. And what we're about to reveal to you might come as quite a bit of a shocker. So here's how it went down. Ahead of the Qatar Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton was trailing behind Max Verstappen by merely 13 points. And when the day finally came, it seemed that Hamilton had a master stroke to play on the 21st of November in Qatar, because he came to conquer the tracks. Lewis Hamilton led practically every lap of the race, claiming victory in spectacular fashion, and now stands just 8 points behind the Red Bull rival for the championship. The stewards charged the young Dutchman with a penalty just an hour and a half before the race kicked off in Doha. The case against Verstappen was open and shut after he refused to listen to and obey the meaning of the double-waved yellow flags. This means he did not reduce his speed during the final moments on Saturday, when he was qualifying, and so Verstappen was put into an already compromised position, starting at 7th place following a 5-place grid penalty for an infringement on Saturday, which demoted him from 2nd place to 7th. Hamilton's consecutive wins leave the 2 drivers' championship title fight with a rather easy target to finish 2 races. Here's what Hamilton had to say at the end of the race: "I'm really grateful for these points. It's been a hell of a year. To be at this point of the year and have back-to-back wins is a great feeling. Max Verstappen and Red Bull's fate." As for Verstappen, you can't say the man didn't try. Many are saying he had the performance of the day, starting 7th but trying his ultimate best to catch up, and ending the race as a designated runner-up. The Dutchman kicked off the race with a perfect start, quickly getting to 4th place by the end of lap 1, and until the end of the 4th lap, Verstappen secured 2nd position and was just catching up to Hamilton, being only 4 seconds behind him. It was tight, but that would come to be as close as he could get to his rival, who was leisurely leading the race, pulling ahead by a full 8 seconds. However, it is worth mentioning that Verstappen produced the fastest lap of the race, bagging a crucial championship point. It's interesting to see how the race at Doha unfolded, especially keeping in mind how cautious the drivers had to be, properly slowing down through sections of the track where double yellow flags were waving because of an incident that had one of the best drivers penalized. Ironically enough, Mercedes driver Valtteri Bottas was also handed a 3-place grid penalty for the same offense. On the other hand, the AlphaTauri driver Pierre Gasly had to pull over to the side of the track near the finish line after enduring a tire puncture. And finally, Verstappen has managed to qualify as 2nd for Sunday's race, trailing Hamilton. The stewards expressing their sympathies for Verstappen, whose team questioned the penalties, saying that it was not clear if drivers were to slow down because the FIA had ruled off the yellow flag signal before the Red Bull driver had entered in the final phase of the race, thereby demanding a recheck. Red Bull's response to the controversial penalty. Here's what the stewards said in detail. Notwithstanding the fact the team argued that the turning off of the yellow sector on the FIA marshalling system some 34 seconds prior to the driver reaching the yellow flag signified that it was a play on. It was the driver's responsibility to take the appropriate action when entering what was a double yellow flag area. They also continued to add that the driver, meaning Verstappen, actually did admit that he was aware of the presence of car 10 on the right side of the racetrack, and common sense dictates that having seen a disabled car, it is expected, such as in the case of the driver of car 55, Carlos Sainz, that there existed a potential hazard and that a yellow flag situation was apparent. Therefore, Verstappen was expected to take the appropriate action to reduce his speed. However, Red Bull boss Christian Horner wasn't very happy about the decision, telling Sky Sports UK he believed the flags were being waved in a wrong manner. "I think it's just a rogue marshal that stuck a flag out, and he has not been instructed to by the FIA. He said they've got to have control of their marshals. It's as simple as that, because that's a crucial blow in the World Championship for us." He concluded by saying that they failed to register this because it just seems like a screw-up from the FIA. Here's what the young Dutchman himself had to say, which was surprisingly a bit more on an optimistic note, starting off by acknowledging how they kicked off the the race disadvantaged. And from there, I was quickly back into second, so at the end of the day, to get that fastest lap was very nice. I know it's going to be difficult to the end, but that's nice. It keeps it exciting. He also said that he's excited about the tight battle that's coming up. Other related news: Mercedes being investigated by the FIA. Even if Qatar proved to be a rather auspicious venue for Mercedes, no F1 GP can be complete without a bit of spice now, can it? After Mercedes were done celebrating their victory, Red Bull immediately raised suspicion over the Mercedes' new rear wings, questioning the legality of their new addition. According to Red Bull, the wing grants them an unfair advantage. The supporting surface of Mercedes' rear wing is in motion when it's advancing down the straights at high speed, thereby significantly reducing the drag on the W12. And while Red Bull haven't formally lodged a complaint, they have released an image with score marks to demonstrate what is happening at Mercedes. Mercedes have obviously denied the allegations against their car design, adding that the FIA was satisfied with their rear wing legitimacy. Speaking at a press conference, Mercedes boss Toto Wolff even invited Horner to examine it more closely if he wishes. "We've said that we've been controlled 14 times on this very particular rear wing. The FIA has all drawings about it, and there is no such thing as Red Bull expects there to be. So we are happy to send it. Out it. I can send you one too," Red Bull's factory in Milton Keynes. But Horner was pleased the FIA would be investigating it further, revealing the governing body will be considering pole tests after qualifying. He also mentioned that he was really happy that the FIA is proactive about matters such as these from now on. And that marks the end of our video, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out the other ones. See you next time. Until then, ciao!